usual, going to start with introduction. I am Superintendent of Police, Samuel Sayo Conte, the Deputy Spokesman for the Sierra Leone Police. Okay.
Over my route introduction.
We should invoke the presence of God. Let us, in our individual faith, observe the presence of God. Let us pray silently. Amen. Amen. Thank you so very much. The introduction continues. I am Superintendent of Police, Samuel Sayo Conte, the Deputy Spokesman for the Sierra Leone Police. On my immediate left is Assistant Superintendent of Police. Deputy Superintendent of Police, Edward Senesi, representing the Commander, Regional Commander, Freetown East. And of course, he needs no introduction. Very close to my right is the official spokesperson for the Sierra Leone Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Brahma Kamara Media One. And of course, very close to him is Commissioner Victor Maxwell Williams, is the Regional Commander, Freetown West. And next to him, of course, is Assistant Commissioner of Police, Alhaji Badi Bangura.
Where?
Thank you. Very close to Media One, we have AIG, commonly known as KSK. That's the Director of Traffic and Road Safety Management. And our chairperson for today's meeting is the Director of Crime Services, AIG Fire Cell, William Fire Cell. And of course, in our midst, we have other institutions. This shows how important this press conference is for today. Of course, from ONS, we have Abdul Karim Will, Acting Director, Serious Organized Crime, Office of National Security.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mohamed Kaba Masakoi, of course, my personal brother, Head of Anti-Smuggling Container Section, Customs Department, NRA. You're welcome. We have Joseph Momo, of course, he was my boss. Gevao, we usually call him the Lion, Head of Security, Sierra Leone Port Authority. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tamba Buffer, Regulatory Officer, Pharmacy Board, Sierra Leone. You're welcome, sir. Sylvester Lagai, C-Corp. You're welcome, sir. And of course, Mansa Jallo, Senior Investigation Officer, Anti-Corruption. Welcome, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
Good afternoon. I see a lady and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, I want to wish every member of the Fourth Estate a prosperous 2022. Yes, I'm sure we have drawn the curtain on 2021, and gradually we are putting behind the frenzy of Christmas, the excitement of Christmas, and we are focusing on our objectives, on the targets we set for ourselves. I want to welcome you to this first press conference in 2022, and as you can see from the composition of people, it is taking a new dimension each time. We have broadened the membership of those who are giving information, because we have realized that there is a need for the information to go out to members of the public. So that's why you see a wide range of other service providers present. But when you look at all of these service providers here present, we have a common goal. We have something which unites all of us, that is the fight against crime. Whether local or international, transnational, all of us, we have that focus. And of course, against corruption, of course, is a bigger crime, the biggest crime ever. So on that note, I wish to welcome you. And we have a very tight agenda, but we're going to make it fit. Would have loved to involve actually the regional commanders in the provinces, but because of some technological challenges, head of media is going to improve on that one, so that by the next press conference, we'll have them to also update us. We trust that most of the media houses or print houses represented here have their own reporters in the provinces, but we still realize the information is not coming readily. So maybe if we bring in the regional commanders, that will facilitate or enhance the information flow. So we go to the program. Of course, the Director of Operations is not here, but I will maybe give a general update on policing across the board. First of all, like I said, we have just policed the festive season, though it's not over yet. But so far, so good. It went well. It is not 100%, but at least we were able to make an impact during this festive season. One of the things that helped us to go that far or to achieve that level of success is we actually assessed threats at all levels, analyzed it, and of course that led to the operational order which was generated by the Director of Operations, and it was cascaded to all commanders across the country, who then customized to fit their own local situation. And of course, secondly, on the 29th and 30th of December, we provided security for the SLPP National Delegates Conference, which took place in Quay at the National Stadium. This event, I must say without fear, was characterized by a series of threats around it. Because when you talk about electing national officials of a party, whether it is an opposition party or a ruling party, that is surrounded a lot of threats. But we are able to handle the threats after we've assessed the threat and deployed our personnel sufficiently. We were able to make sure that both and its immediate environs remained calm and quiet before, during, and after that particular event. Then also, I want to say here that in the Sierra Leone Police, without fear or favor, under the leadership of Dr. Ambrose Gula, we are witnessing what Europe called in the 1750s as the Renaissance, a rebirth. We are witnessing the changing the face of the SLP. In the first place, we have reintroduced those ranks which were disestablished by the British-born Inspector General at that time, Quay, the man from Manchester. We reduced our ranks from 19 to 9, and that one adversely affected police promotions and even the salary structure. So after 20 years, Dr. Sugula saw the need for us to bring back those ranks so that police officers are not disadvantaged. Because if you compare, when we look at the SLP and the R staff, they didn't close some of the ranks, so that's why they are in a better position. And also for now, we have re-established, and we are also in a better position now. Secondly, the Inspector General has decided to take forward the project we call Safe City Project. This Safe City Project has been there since the days of former IG Mono. The basic thing about the Safe City Project is to make sure we have freedom on CCTV camera. In the short time he's been in the office as IG, he has made huge steps for us to realize that one. Now, as I'm talking to you, we are establishing a control room just next door, where we are bringing our monitoring mechanisms, our monitors. We set it up from there, and on Wednesday we had a demonstration of what we have achieved so far. On Wednesday we are sitting here, and our cameras could go as far as the Quay. They could go as far as State House and beyond. They could go as far as beyond, even they say some kilometers along the coast, because we shot it into the along the coast, and we were able to see a couple of things. But there is still a need for us to expand on that one. In the next phase of the expansion, we are going to include Eastern Police, Town, especially the Town roundabout area, Upgun area, and then of course Longley. Already we have Home Cross on camera. So that is how far the Inspector General is going to make sure we are making use of technology in the SLP. Additionally, we have also introduced a system where all regional commanders and directors, we are no longer using paper to communicate with the Inspector General of Police. Everything is now digital. Everybody now has an official email, minutes of EMB, and every piece of information that has to do with your office is sent to you on your official mail. So if you are not mail friendly, you don't access that particular information. And the biggest of all achievements we are going to see very shortly is the expansion of the WAPIS program. WAPIS is simply an acronym for West African Police Information System. That's the medium through which West African countries will share information on crime and criminals. For us in Sierra Leone, we have 5 work stations in Freetown, Lumley, CID headquarters, Crossroad, Immigration, and the ACC. And of course, up country we have 4 stations, Kenema, Makeni, and Poloko. What we have done now is the WAPIS coordinator, who also happens to be police officer, resident in Abuja, Dr. Mohamed Hassania was here, and we have been working with fixed solutions to ensure that there's internet connectivity in all of these workstations. So as I'm talking to you, we have been able to connect the one at CID. We are also working on the ACC and all of it in the Freetown area particularly. Hopefully by the 27th of this month, we are going to officially launch the system. So all the equipment needed for the effective functioning of these workstations have been put in place, and the internet connectivity is being done by fixed solutions. We have also done the training of 60 personnel drawn from all these institutions which keep criminal records, so that the workstations can function effectively. After that, after the 27th of this month, we are moving into the second phase to connect the interior, the interland, Freetown, Kenema, Makeni, and Poloko. We have workstations there. Well, all the equipment have been transferred there. What is left now is for the connectivity. So we have all the staff on ground. So this is how much progress the SLP is making to change its face, so that we can go electronic also like other institutions. Having said that, as an update on the SLP, we'll now move straight to the program, and under number 4 will go to the Director of Traffic Management and Road Safety. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The flask? Oh, okay.
We can fix this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here this afternoon to give you an update on countrywide on RTAs. That is, RTA means road traffic accidents for motor vehicles from the 1st of January to the 31st of December 2021, and also that of motorcycles, tricycles, bicycles from the 1st of January to the 31st of December 2021. Let us start with, I will start with the motor vehicles, and I will start with the regions. I start with the Freetown West region. Here, the total number of cases reported, accident cases that were recorded under the period under review, that's January 1 to December 31st. We had 695 cases reported, and then fatality, we have 13 male who were fatally injured. Then we have 5 female who were fatally injured. Then serious, that's the nature of injury. Serious injuries for male, Freetown West, we had 57, and Freetown East, female, we had 42. Then slight injuries, male 123, then female is 56. Then the passengers, persons injured, we have passengers 88, then pedestrians 166, then drivers 42. Then the causes of these road crashes, we have the human factor for Freetown West was 593, mechanical factor was 94, and then environmental factor is 8. Then Freetown East, we recorded 992 cases, well, with various fatalities, female, male, then serious, and so on. Then for Freetown, for Northwest region, we recorded 91 reports of road crashes. Then Northeast 76, then the Southern region 58, then the Eastern region we had 363. Then the total number of cases reported that were recorded under the period under review was 2,275. Then for fatality, male we had 145, female we had 69. So when you put these two figures together, we had 214 fatalities. Then the serious accidents, we had 294 male and 158 female. The total, when you put these two figures together, we had 452. Then the slight injuries, we had 550 male, then 319 female. When you put the two figures together, we had 869. Then persons injured, passengers, we had 703, pedestrians, we had 522, then the drivers, we had 310. When you put all these figures together, we had 1,535. Then the causes of accidents, the human factor, we had 1,909. Mechanical factor, we had 311. Then environmental factor was 55. When you put all these three figures together, we had 2,275. So we had the summary of RTA data for motor vehicles, motorcycles, tricycles, bicycles from 1st January to the 31st of December 2021. The total number of cases reported countrywide, we had a subtotal of 4,156. Then the fatality, the grand total of fatality for both male and female was 362. Then the grand total for the serious accidents countrywide was 930. For slight injuries, we had 2,292. Then persons injured, passengers and pylons, we had 1,536. The pedestrians, we had 1,048. And then drivers stroke riders, we had 1,000. So when you put all these three figures together, it was 3,584. Then the causes, the human factor was 3,627. Mechanical factor was 445. Then environmental factor was 4,156. So in totality, we had we recorded 4,156 cases of accidents that were reported. And when we talk of the factors that led to these accidents, we talk of a human factor. That is the drivers themselves, the behavior of the driver, the way the driver was handling the vehicle, and so on. These are the human factors, which are 3,627. Then we talk of the mechanical factor, that accidents or crashes that were due to mechanical factor, that the condition of the vehicle itself, or the condition of the bike, or the tricycle. So we had 445 of those factors that led to these crashes. Then the environmental factor, when you talk of environmental factor, maybe the road also, the nature of the road is an environmental factor. Then the condition of the weather condition, and other factors, right? We had about 84 of them. So when you put all these figures together, we had 4,156. So it means these factors were the ones that led to the causes of this road accident, because you can see the figures, the total number of cases reported with the causes of the accident, they are the same, 4,156 and 4,156 are the causes of those road crashes. I think that is all what I have for you, which I think I feel you should know.
Well, thank you, Director of Traffic Management. I'm sure I'm not comfortable with figures, so I was very confused. But actually, we are putting together as an organization what we call the
crime statistics,
which we hope to publish by next month. So when we publish that one, we're going to launch it officially in this same room, and you'll have access to that document. Now we move to the second item under the update from crime services. Crime services is actually a very big directorate with 7 departments: TOCU, Crime Management, Interpol, Legal and Justice Support Department, Scientific Support Department, Family Support Unit, and then of course Witness Protection. So we have decided, for me as Director of Crime Services, one of the resolutions I took at the end of last year was to make sure every head of department under crime services must come to this press conference as and when necessary. So that is why the update from crime services is going to come from those who have responsibility in certain areas. Additionally, security sector is not only for the civilian police. We have other key players like the ONS, like the ACC, the Pharmacy Board. All of us are in it. So we have decided to expand the participation, and from now henceforth, we'll be coming together. So that tells you clearly some of the things crime services is doing is not all by itself, because you cannot do it all by yourself. There's synergy between all of these other security sector service providers. So move on to C, update from ONS by Mr. Quay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the Toko family, thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the Toko family, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Acting National Security Coordinator in the Office of National Security, Mr. Draikolka, I bring you affectionate greetings. We are gathered here this afternoon, amongst other things, to inform you about security happenings across the country. Specifically, I will talk on the issue relating to the recent seizures that we made at the Queen Elizabeth II Quay. Of course, the seizures that were made a couple of weeks ago is not the first of seizures that have been made by the transnational organized crime unit. In fact, at this juncture, I want to doff my hat to the leadership of the Toku for the unfailing efforts in ensuring that we bring organized criminality under the spotlight with the aim of discouraging the use of Sierra Leone's territory for the perpetration of organized crimes. Because this is important. As a country, we cannot have our country being used as a conduit for doing things that will bring our country into disrepute, that will impact our youth negatively. And specifically, these arrests that have been made were done under the Toku umbrella, but within the SICOP framework. I'll talk on SICOP very shortly. The Transnational Organized Crime Unit, what we refer to as Toku, is a subcommittee of the National Security Council. Within the security sector, the national security architecture, the National Security Council is the highest forum for the consideration of all matters related to security. And the Toku is a subcommittee of this committee. The Toku framework itself is drawn from 16 member agencies, which means at Toku, it's a collaboration, it's an interagency approach to ensure that we defeat the activities of organized criminals. As the name itself suggests, organized criminality is one that is well structured to ensure that they beat the system. And so you can only take an organization to fight an organization. And over the period, we've made a lot of inroads in exposing these enemies of the state. Our efforts in fighting this menace are born out of the fact that organized criminality will not only hamper our human resource, it will also put our country in a bad light in the international community. And when that obtains, we're going to face with a lot of problems. That's the reason we always call on the public to join us in these efforts, because the implications for organized criminal activities are not only affecting members of the security sector, they affect every facet of society. I mean, we are all witnesses to the harrowing scenes in which our youths are being subjected to violence, to perpetrating harm against others, to the extent that they even inflict injuries upon themselves. If you go to the Sierra Leone Psychiatric Teaching Hospital, the statistics will tell you that 80, if not more, % of the people that are under their purview for rehabilitation are ones that are drug abusers. And so people who bring in drugs into Sierra Leone are not doing a service to Sierra Leone. They are causing a lot of problems for us. That's the reason we're thankful that the fourth estate has always been very much tall in helping us to expose these drugs. I mentioned SICOP. SICOP is a sea cooperation project, and it's a European Union funded initiative that has been set up to fight organized criminalities at sea. After we have succeeded in frustrating the efforts of organized criminals through their use of our borders, especially at the land and airports, they seem to have diverted their activities on sea. And so the European Union, mindful of the implications of these kinds of activities, is supporting countries within the Western African coast to fight organized crimes at sea. And so we have established a sea cooperation project and the Queen Elizabeth II Quay, which means a conglomeration of the members drawn from the Toku family will be based at the port to ensure that on an intelligence-led basis, we fight those people that have made it their business to bring in drugs into the country, to bring in counterfeit goods into the country. And so quite recently, with with support from the leadership of Toku, we were able to make elaborate seizures. And I'm sure very shortly we'll be talking to the public about what the status of the investigations are, and we will be requiring information, we will be requiring intelligence. Let us all put our feet to the wheel and give information to the public where it is needed, to the police where it is needed. Because it's only through this that we'll be able to unearth these bad behaviors. At this juncture, I want to thank you and thank the leadership of the Sierra Leone Police for giving us this platform to talk to members of the public, and to particularly for the state, who I want to encourage to cascade these kinds of information that they hear far and wide for every member of the Sierra Leonean society and even beyond to be well aware of what we do and why we are doing what we are doing. Thank you very much.
In the most recent 6 months, Sierra Leone has made significant gains in stopping illegal or the movement of contraband goods in Sierra Leone, especially at the Quay. So, of course, like he said, in the month of December, we made significant gains. We had two big catches. At this point, I want to recognize the presence of the Regional Commander South, AIG Air Samaria. AIG Air Samaria was host to the just concluded SLB National Delegates Conference. He's the architect for our success in that direction. He did all he could, all that was required of him, the threat assessment, the deployment of personnel, and of course the actual conduct of security apparatus during that particular occasion. And we are not there all by ourselves. We are supported by Toku, by Interpol or ONS, who have the coordinating role. Of course, Toku was there, everybody was there. So, Mr. Samaria, you are welcome. I didn't know you were on the way to this place. I would have waited. But I stepped in your shoes to give an update on your efforts in Bo, not only in Bo, but in the entire southern region.
Thank you.
So you are welcome.
Thank you.
Now, I will ask the head of Toku, Alaji Bangura. Alaji Bangura.
Good afternoon all. I feel humble and privileged for giving me this opportunity to be able to meet the media family. And all of us here, including the Toku family, we are here this afternoon to espouse that we did a synonymous game and we're able to drive in and to stop criminals from the Toku point of view. We cannot do it alone. All of us were on deck. So, by talking of the big catch that we all made on 28th December 2021, relating to a tip-off, all of us from the Toku family were able to arrest a 20-feet container with number SUDU 7534198, which was inspected at the Queen Elizabeth Quay on suspicion of carrying tramadol, Royal 225 mg. 37 of it was arrested. 37 cartons of the said tramadol were found concealed in the midst of other goods in the container. 2 Nigerians, as I speak, they will now be coming in. You will see them graciously coming to destroy the fabric of this country with drugs. Let them come in. 2 Nigerians, Marcelo Zoro and Charles Obina Okonkwo. Please usher them in so that the media will be able to recognize them and project them well. They are out there. Yes, let them come. So we were able to arrest them after this seizure. They've been arrested. For the tramadol, we already have the agent. We've arrested the agent, One Kadibangura. She is in our custody. In consigning remain absent. We are on the hunt. And then these two guys put your face mask so that you will be recognized thoroughly. And these are special guys that are in this country. We've arrested them. One, when we arrested them, we conducted a search in their premise. We were able to discover yesterday, and we arrested them at the beach. A large cash of, you will see it as a familiar dollar. There is no way to be able to distinguish them if you do not have the know-how.
The figure.
The figure is
39,400.
39,400. It's all fake. Counter. They have a lot of bank accounts here with their passports. They've registered a fake business in this country, and they are operating without a seat, no home address, no office address. These are the guys. And then for the military fatigue, the other guys are also with us. So, by the token of our essentiality, why do we exist? Is that we've done this so that the media, in recognition of the Toku family, doing their own bit to ensure that criminals are hindered. And these are some of the things. We have one, these are the items that were seized from their premise. And these are the guys, they are just coming in new. So they are fake guys.
This afternoon, amongst the 4th Estate, I'm from Customs Department, NRA. Of course, Mr. Weeb had already talked and given the background on Toku. Like he said earlier, Toku is comprising of 16 member institutions, of which my institution happened to be a member. And from the starting when Toku was formed in 2010, NRA Customs have played a great role. And because of interagency collaboration amongst us down the port, we have been able to hit dividend in arresting prohibited and restricted goods. If I could draw your attention back since last year, July, up to this date, we are in collaboration with other agencies down the port, the police, port security, port health, pharmacy board, standards bureau, etc. For us, no one agency can fight transnational crime without the support of the others. So on that note, we have been working in collaboration and coordinating things amongst us down the port. In fact, that led us to actually arrest some quantity of tramadol, like the head of Toku has just reported. And besides the tramadol, we also, of course, worked on an intelligence regarding another 40-foot container, of which we conducted 100% inspection. We are able also to catch large quantity of military fatigue. As I'm speaking, they are all under our custody at the Quay. And of course, Toku is also investigating that aspect. So on that note, I want to draw or create the indulgence of the Fourth Estate, because we do operate also on intelligence. By giving us intelligence, I think we'll be able to do more. For us down the board, we are always prepared to work on any intelligence leading to prohibited or restricted goods that is concealed in any container that is coming down the port or vehicles. Mr. Chairman, on that note, I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to actually give an update with regards the cooperation and coordination amongst the Toku members down the port. Thank you all.
The Queen Elizabeth II Quay, prior to this time, we are getting reports of theft at the Quay. People's luggages were being bubbled into and carted away. We have the head of that particular outfit in the person of retired superintendent. Is it? Am I correct?
You are correct.
Retired superintendent Joseph Gevau. Momo Gevau, yes. Retired superintendent Momo Gevau is the head of the security at the Quay. So I'm sure he has one or two things to tell us about his activities.
Offering me this privilege to be here this morning to say a few about our existence down there as head of security. Taking over the security sector of port security in 2019 January. It was observed that a lot were happening, here and there on continents and apart from that, the security sector was not properly organized. That was my first exercise. I made sure that the security sector was organized. We have an investigation branch there, wherein minor issues that pertain to harbor issues like entry queue, town bars, and all this sort of it are investigated, and of course data transferred to police for charges when there is the necessity. Although some are warned and sent out, say should be observed discretion sometimes. And having in mind that we are the host and feel we cannot work alone, teamwork is very essential. We had to open up by having our other stakeholders like Toku. We give them housing, like NRA, we give them housing, like the pharmacy board, we give them housing. We have housed all of these stakeholders so as to work together to make sure that pill-free, illegal drugs, and transnational crime is beaten down drastically. And I now assure you that Harbour don't have any hesitation to ship in your properties. It will be safe until delivered to your door steps. Yes. And next to that, having in mind that no one institution operates alone to obtain success, we have always been together, like more especially NRA and Choku. We work together. And we've seen that working together yields a lot of dividends, good dividends. That is, like the arrest, I'm not going into that anymore because Mr. Wheeler said about it and Mr. Quay has said something about that. A lot of arrests has been made, which you know, you've got the information and you've seen some people responsible. So I'm not going into that much. But now, you can now see that entering the Quay, unlike previous days, where people just go like big market, they enter and buy and then go out. It's not like that anymore. We have restructured the pass system. You have to obtain pass before you go down the Quay. You have to, there are certain, things according to the ISPS, the International Shipping Standard that we are operating with, has limitation to certain things. Like you cannot enter there with sleeveless shirt, you cannot enter there with weapon of any kind, pistol, knife, or whatever. You cannot enter there with slippers because of what activity that are being done down there. We have a lot of machines that may not, allow you to be of that, attire down there, right? And then we have certain sections which are restricted. You cannot go there unless you are properly dressed. You have your helmet, you have your reflector. That's the yellow thing you see people wear with the shining strip around it. We call that reflector, of course. We have boots. Safety boots. You have to have that on. And the security of the ports has been reorganized. How? We have the outlets and the inlets. You cannot go down the Quay. Some people do misconstrue by going through Service Square. No. The main entry point is Footbridge, where you have the main entrance, the original entrance. That's where you go to.
Yeah.
Only vehicles that are going to obtain goods that go through that point, Service Square. And the main outlet is main gate, down by Right Town. Not by Leone. Leone is East Gate. There are specific vehicles we allow them to pass through there because of what they are coming to collect. So all these things have been put in place to make sure that there is easy flow of, traffic and people unharmed. I think I have said that. I have said all. I will give you the option to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from the Acting Registrar of the Pharmacy Board of Sierra Leone, who is unavoidably absent here today. So, like colleagues here said, Pharmacy Board of Sierra Leone is a member of the Toko Management Board. And since the discovery was made on the discovery was made in December last year at the Watergate, we were part of the examination from the onset. So the product in question is a Royal 225 tramadol, which has a batch number of V-5M and was manufactured in October 2020 and is expected to expire in September 2023. So what we did we collected samples of the Royal 225 and then took it to our National Pharmaceutical Quality Control Laboratory and subjected it to certain quality control analysis. So we did 2 tests. One was qualitative and the other was quantitative. So under the qualitative, we actually had to observe or look at the packaging material. For this one, we have secondary, which is this, and then the strip inside is the primary packaging material. So we have certain specifications that we normally set for us to look at drugs, and any drugs imported into this country must comply with those specifications in terms of packaging materials as well as the content of the drug. So on the packaging material, we had to look for the manufacturer, the manufacturer's address, the country of origin of the products. And we found out that this brand of tramadol does not contain manufacturer. There's no one who claims responsibility of making this tramadol. So we saw it came from India, but to us, it does not conform to our specifications in terms of manufacturer's name and address. We also looked at it keenly. All drugs packaging coming into this country must contain leaflet inserts. And we found out that this packet does not contain leaflet inserts. So it also does not conform to that kind of specification. So the claim here is 225, and it's British pharmacopoeia that they used to manufacture it. You know, it has standards for monograph, certain guidelines in the book of British pharmacopoeia that should direct people on how to actually manufacture this one. So they stated 225. But when we looked at our own guideline, we found out that the 225 should be stated for prolonged released tramadol. That is, when you take the tramadol, it has to take some time for it to be released into the system, and then the content made available for absorption by the system. But we realized that they did not state it on the package as prolonged release tramadol. So on the front of the quantitative analysis, we did assay, and we discovered that this tramadol, which they claim to be 225, we realized that the actual content of tramadol in this, well, in what they claim to be, was 912.6 milligram instead of 225. So it is 4 times, tramadol content in this is 4 times what they claim. 4 times what they claim. So this is a very serious problem. So on the quantity of the product arrested, Colesia earlier stated that we arrested 37 cartons. So if you want to know the total number of boxes in the 37 cartons, we aggregated, we had 11,478 boxes of this in the total cartons arrested. And then in the number of tablets aggregated was 1,147,800 tablets total arrested at Quay. So I think that is what we have so far.
That's good. West region, we are delighted to announce that we policed the along the beach and other beaches without much hindrance to the public, traffic, or we didn't see much crime.
I don't know.
All of us here can attest to that the crime rate for the festive season was very low. And of course, we also policed the Tangins, but unfortunately, 1st of January, around 6 in the morning, it was reported that fire engulfed several booths at the back of stand 6. That one is being investigated. The chairman has already reported on a national crime monitoring system, WAPIS. The installment has started at our region. We have a space for that, and the connectivity will soon come on and will be online to be looking at crime and profiling people. However, we also received a report on the 27th of December at about 13:47 hours. We received a report that one Mohammed Mansari, all of Statistics Sierra Leone, and his colleagues, they were attacked during the census. These people are representative of Statistics Sierra Leone. While they were doing their job, they were obstructed and unlawfully imprisoned in a compound. The police rescued them and arrested 2 people. They have been charged to court. We also received reports of a 13-year-old boy who drowned at Laka Beach on the 27th. The body has been located and the corpse was at mortuary for autopsy. We also received reports that on the 4th of January, Fode Kanta of Hill Station was assaulted by 2 people, one Ella Toure and another fellow. The Fode Kanta was severely injured. He lost about 4 teeth and is presently undergoing treatment. But we've already charged Ella Toure, who we arrested. She is presently doing profiling at CID headquarters to go to court. We also received another report of one Alaji, age 28. He went to adjust some electrical equipment at a house at Godrich, where he was electrocuted. That matter is under investigation. And also, we also received another report of one Tambalebi, who reported that Dr. Tambalebi, who reported that he found his son dead in the drainage. That matter is also under investigation. Though the doctor had to explain some amount of issues to us. And we also received another report of NACOVAC workers. They gathered at several locations for the past days. We were enabled to engage them and talk to them, and they dispersed without any hitch. They were demonstrating in respect of their unpaid salaries. But that one also ended up without a hitch. There was also another matter wherein somebody was assaulted with a spanner. He sustained head injuries, cracked skulls. He's admitted at the Godrich Emergency Hospital, and that matter has been transferred to CID for continuation of the investigation with one Clifford in custody. I think apart from that, that's all from Freetown West. And we're happy to report that the crime rate is dropping because of the intelligence-led policing we've been doing, and we've started beat patrols. Our officers are now in the streets in certain areas, patrolling them and reporting, as the case may be. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that update. Now we go to Freetown East.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Director of Crime Services.
You use a system. You are covered by my authority.
Surrender.
You are covered by the authority of the
The chairman.
Chairman.
Chairman and leader.
Chairman and leader of the conference hall.
Mr. Chairman, Director of Crime Services, the Director of Traffic Management, members from various line agencies, organization, Fourth Estate.
Don't die. 9 minutes recording. Just
ESP, Head of Senesi, Regional Command, Regional Media Officer for Freetown East Region. I have 2 issues to report on, apart from other minor ones. On Wednesday, the 5th of January 2022, between the hours of 3 to 4 a.m., one Rolando Domingo, age 63 years, of number 8 Upper Parsonage Street, was attacked and murdered by a group of unknown armed men. The corpse is at Connaught mortuary awaiting post-mortem examination. CIDPC is currently investigating the matter. Also on that same day, Wednesday, the 5th of January 2022, at about 1945 hours along Kisi Bypass Road, around Alpha Mola area, vehicle registration number AKV 854, a trailer with a container driven by one Abdullahi cargo of number 12 Jabi Street, Calabar Town, Freetown, fatally injured Aisha Sisi and Musu Sisi, both of Alpha Mola area, Freetown. Subsequent to the said incident, use of the said area broke into the said container and catered away certain items that were in the container. They were only prevented when the police arrived at the scene to provide the necessary security. Some arrests were made. Otherwise, apart from those 2 incidences, not much to report on. Thank you.